Here's a fun little exercise. Picture a man. Face painted like a clown had a breakdown. Nose like a strawberry someone stepped on. Bounty of 3,189,000,000 berries. That's not a typo. That's not a currency error. That's a number generally reserved for people who can level a city with a sneeze. And this man, Buggy, he's currently classified by the world government as one of the 4 emperors of the sea. One of the 4 most dangerous, most powerful pirates alive. On par with men who eat mountains for breakfast and casually threaten gods. And the honest, uncomfortable truth is, Buggy's never once won a fight through his own strength that anyone remembers fondly. He got beaten by a rubber teenager in a backwater town, so unimportant, most maps don't bother labeling it. He's been robbed, tricked, imprisoned, and generally treated by the universe like a cosmic whoopee cushion. And yet, somehow, he's an emperor. So today, we're doing what any responsible investigative unit would do. We're gonna dig through the wild, unhinged, occasionally brilliant fan theories floating around about Buggy the Clown, and ask the actual question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if we've all been wrong about him? What if underneath the face paint and the tragic haircut and the nose that belongs in a produce aisle, there's something actually properly dangerous hiding behind all that noise? Stick with me, because by the end of this, you might feel a little guilty for laughing at him. Let's start with the origin, because you can't understand the joke without understanding the tragedy underneath it. Buggy was 9 years old when he joined the crew of Gol D Roger. Yes, that Roger, the king of the pirates. The man whose death kicked off the entire era the story takes place in. 9 years old, on a ship full of the most dangerous lunatics on the ocean. And Buggy's closest companion was another child named Shanks. The two bickered constantly. Reportedly, they once had a full-blown argument about which end of the planet was colder, the North Pole or the South Pole. Silver's Rayleigh had to step in and discipline both of them more than once. Somewhere in that childhood, Buggy found a treasure map during a raid and pocketed it instead of sharing it. Consistent character work. He was already the guy quietly working an angle in the corner of the room. Also during a raid, the crew acquired a devil fruit. Buggy ate it, not on purpose, the way you might accidentally eat a very strange grape, and it turned out to be the Bara Bara no Mi. From that point on, Buggy could split his own body into independently floating pieces, and he became completely immune to being cut. Swords passed through him like smoke. Every blade in the world became a party trick against him. That's canon, confirmed, permanent. Then came the day that broke him. Buggy watched Roger die in public, in front of the whole world. That alone would be enough to end a person. But Buggy said explicitly that his dream didn't die at the execution. It died when Shanks walked away from him afterward. Two boys who grew up on the same ship, scolded by the same first mate, split apart in the wreckage of watching their captain die. And something in Buggy just switched off. He set up shop in the East Blue, terrorizing the weakest islands in the weakest sea, until a straw-hatted teenager showed up and ruined his entire operation in Orangetown. This looked, for all the world, like the epilogue of a joke character. Except the story wasn't done writing him yet. Buggy eventually landed in Impel Down, the world's most secure prison. When Luffy tore it open from the inside, Buggy escaped alongside roughly 240 hardened criminals, men who make Buggy look like a kindergarten teacher by comparison. Their ship was forced toward Marineford, directly into the biggest war the world had seen in decades. When panic broke out at the idea of walking into that meat grinder, something strange happened. Through a chain of ridiculous coincidences, Buggy calmed the crowd. reframed the whole nightmare as an opportunity. The man who once got beaten by a teenager in a village nobody's heard of accidentally became a messiah to 240 hardened criminals. That moment is where his fanatical following was born.
Fast forward. The warlord system gets abolished. Buggy loses his protection overnight. Crocodile, the desert man with the hook hand and the ego to match, approaches Mihawk with a proposal. Form a new criminal syndicate, the Cross Guild. Buggy, drowning in debt, hands over everything when Crocodile comes to collect. His people, his resources, his entire operation becomes the backbone of the Cross Guild. Mihawk and Crocodile are the real brains, the real muscle. Buggy was never supposed to be the leader, but his followers plastered his face all over the Cross Guild's propaganda. The public assumed Buggy was the mastermind. The world government assumed Buggy was the mastermind. And because of that mistaken identity, because of one clown's face on a poster, the world government declared Buggy an emperor of the sea. Crocodile and Mihawk are furious about it, by the way. Confirmed furious. Two of the most feared men alive, quietly seething because the world thinks they answer to a circus performer. But they tolerate it. Because Buggy's a useful decoy that keeps the real danger hidden behind a red nose. Buggy's entire empire is built on a joke the universe hasn't finished telling yet. Theory number 1, the one that's been quietly detonating forums for the better part of a year. What if Buggy is the son of Gol D Xebec? 38 years before the story takes place, Gol D Xebec, a man so dangerous that even Whitebeard's reputation looks modest next to his, was taken down in a combined effort by Roger and a young Monkey D. Garp. Do the math on Buggy's age. He'd have been an infant around the exact time of that incident. Recent chapters confirmed that Gol D Xebec is the father of Marshall D. Teach. Blackbeard, confirmed in ink. Which means Rox had at least one child running around causing problems. So fans asked, what if there's more than one? Then someone pulled up Buggy's wanted poster next to Rox's wanted poster, both with their tongues out, both making nearly identical hand gestures. That's real, in the official art. Whether it means anything, homage, coincidence, or a giant flashing neon sign from Oda himself, nobody knows. But for a man whose comedic personalities always felt slightly too big for his role in the story, secret son of one of the most terrifying pirates who ever lived would recontextualize an awful lot of clown makeup. Theory number 2 is quieter, but it's the kind that ruins your ability to watch him the same way again. What if Buggy carries the will of D? You know the names. Gol D. Roger, Monkey D. Luffy, Marshall D. Teach. Every one of them a walking storm. The D isn't just a middle initial, it's practically a warning label. Carriers share one thing across the board: undeniable charisma, an instinct for defying impossible odds, and apparently a group chat with destiny the rest of us weren't invited to. Buggy's never been confirmed to carry it, but look at what he's survived. A child on Roger's ship, a survivor of Marineford, an accidental prophet to 240 hardened criminals, a bankrupt clown who ended up the public face of one of the most feared organizations on the sea. That's not luck repeating itself that many times. That's a pattern. And patterns, in this story, tend to have names attached to them eventually. Theory number 3 should genuinely unsettle you. What if Buggy's real power hasn't even shown up yet? 3 flavors of this float around. The first is Devil Fruit Awakening. Paramecia users can awaken their abilities. Doflamingo turned an entire city into his puppet theatre once awakened. If Buggy ever awakened the Bara Bara no Mi,
his power might stop being about his own body and start being about everything around him. Reality itself getting sliced apart at the seams. The second is instinct. Buggies, on multiple documented occasions, dodged death by margins that shouldn't be survivable for a man with his combat record. Some fans think that's not luck. They think it's a subconscious flicker of observation haki, the sixth sense that lets fighters read danger before it arrives.
And third, the boldest one.
After a specific scene where Buggy reacted with real, unfiltered protectiveness when Shanks was threatened, some fans think that wasn't just love for an old friend. They think it might have been a flicker of Conqueror's Haki, the rarest trait in the world, shared by names like Luffy, Shanks, Roger, and Kaido. Nobody's shown Buggy using it on screen. But the theory persists because deep down, everyone half suspects the story isn't finished measuring this man yet.
So where does that leave us? A clown, orphaned by history the moment Shanks walked away. A con man who accidentally became a prophet to 240 criminals headed for war. A bankrupt fool handed an empire because his own fans loved him too loudly. An emperor who never won the title through strength, and yet keeps ending up exactly where the powerful people end up anyway. Maybe that's the real joke. Maybe Buggy isn't secretly the son of a legend, or a hidden carrier of some cosmic bloodline, or a sleeping giant one awakening away from terrifying the world. Maybe he's just a man the universe keeps mistaking for something bigger than he is, and one day, out of sheer exhaustion, decides to become it. Just so everyone will finally stop asking. Or maybe the tongue's out on that wanted poster for a reason. We don't know yet. Nobody does. That's the fun part. There are a lot more corners of this world worth getting lost in. A lot more faces behind the face paint worth digging into. So stick around, because we're just getting started.